This conference will now be recorded.
So that the system is initiated with the TR, transfer requirement document number. So this transfer requirement document number, if I change to transfer order, so at the time of TR, user don't know where you need to keep this material, which storage type, which section, which bin. So once you'll come to know, once you'll convert the TR into TO, then system will propose a suitable storage type, section, bin. Okay, so the user will go and he will keep the material. But only for WM integration, again WM is a submodule. Okay, so now today we'll discuss about batch management. Right? Today is batch management. Okay, so today we are planning for batch management. So what is this batch management? How to handle this batch management? Batch management. So generally, the batch management is a concept here. Why I need to enable the batch number to the materials? Means what are the materials I am receiving externally from the different vendors or internally from the production order for each and every material. So the system has to allocate one batch number here. Okay, so this batch management not only the MM module. Okay, the other modules like SD people need to understand the batch management. Why SD people need to understand the batch management? Because SD people, they are going to sell the goods to the customers, right? So SD people also need to understand the batch management. Okay, the same way production people also need to understand the batch management because they are producing the new materials by using which batch kind of materials they are using. Suppose if I am preparing a final product, so which batch numbers they are using to make a final product. The production people also need to understand the batch management. Okay. The same way, the quality people also need to understand the batch management. So why quality people need to understand the batch management? See here, suppose now I received 100 pieces from the vendor. So in this particular batch, I need to test here. So how many number of materials are up to the market? So whether I need to reject or not here. Or suppose I produced some number of pieces in my production, I received to my stores. Okay. So here I need to check here. So what are the materials? Okay. So randomly also I can check in purely quality QM module also the batch management is one of the important concepts here. So because they will not test for all the 100 pieces in a particular lot, in a production lot, they produce some 1000 pieces example. They will not test all the materials randomly. They will test here, and they can say this particular complete. Okay, so lot will be okay. It's up to the mark here. So they will say this. They will keep on batch number. Okay, and finally we need to understand the batch management to find. So what is the definition of the batch management? The batch management to find the homogeneous of the materials, to find the faulty materials. Okay, I'll give one line, one example. Maybe you are aware, I don't know. So previously the smart mobiles, we are using Nokia mobiles, right? So before this Android mobiles, we are using Nokia mobiles. One incident has happened, one person has died in Pune because of this battery explosion. Okay. Immediately the Nokia people is announced, who are using this particular batch series, okay, please return to the Nokia. Okay, please return to us. Okay, so then they'll replace the new battery for them. Who are using this Nokia, some 1111, some series was there, right? So before this Android. So this one example you need to understand. See here you can find the faulty materials. So now I issued the materials to the customers here. Okay, now customers are using. So how it is possible for them here? Because of the batch number. So this particular batteries, what are the batteries is produced? So for all the batteries, we are using the same batch number, right? So easily you can able to trace out here. So this is the main purpose of the batch number here. But in SAP, we have two types of procedures will be there. So once again, the batch management. So with the help of this batch management, you can find the homogeneous of the material or quality materials. Okay, the batch management, not only the MM. The MM people need to understand the batch management. WM, SD, PP, QM. So these are the modules need to understand about the batch management. So batch management, we have two concepts will be there. So one is batch management. Okay, so here batch management. So batch management. without classification, one procedure. Without classification. This is one first procedure, batch management. So without classification. The second one is batch management. So you can write down. So we have two procedures in SAP. One is batch management without classification. Okay. The second one is batch management with classification. So the second one is batch management with classification. Two procedures in there. Batch management without classification. Second one is batch management with classification. Okay. Now before going to discuss, so today we'll discuss about first procedure, batch management without classification. Okay. So the batch management without classification we'll discuss it. Simply, where you will activate the batch management, so we need to understand here. Now go to login pad, enter the user ID and password. So what I will do, in real time, you are the part of implementation part here. Okay, so as a consultant, okay, so what you will get a, when you are uploading the master data, so which materials they are using batch management. In the stores, I have thousands of materials. So I have a number of raw materials, finished materials, semi-finished materials, spare parts. What are all the materials they are using in batch management? The list of materials will be provided by your client people. So when you are working about the batch management, how you come to know which materials they are using in batch management? You no need to worry. The client will give you list of materials. So these materials in our industry, this 10,000 materials or 15,000 materials. So irrespective of all the material types, we are using this number of materials we are using in batch management. So simply we need to enable the batch here. We need to enable the batch here. Where I need to enable the batch number? So if I go to MM01, okay, so you can take any material type, example some raw material, go to selection views. So with the basic MMVS, enter the org levels, enter the plant or store location. So this is the test material I am going to create here. Test material. Enter your base unit of measure is PC. Enter your material group from 001. Okay, so enter the purchase group here. Here, this is the indicator here. This is the most important here. So if I selected the batch management indicator here, if I selected the batch management indicator, which means, so previously we never selected, right? Previously we never selected here. Now today I am selecting here. Okay, batch management. So this batch management checkbox is available in purchasing view as well as general plant store location view and sales views. Okay, you can write down. And completely the batch management indicator is available in Metal Master, purchasing view, general plant store location view, and sales views. In these three views, wherever you selected one is enough. Remaining all the remaining two views automatically system will select here. But if I selected, this is most important. If I selected, then what happened here? This so master data means how many times you will create? Only one time. So this material entire project here, this material for entire project, you must go with the batch management concept only. It means for all the inventory transactions. So far, what are the inventory transactions we observed? We observed goods receipts, goods issues, stock transfers, transfer postings, reservations. So all the inventory transactions with the batch management only. Okay. So this is the main triggering point. So I selected this batch management. So automatically it is selected. Okay. Only any one view if you selected, automatically it will be selected. Again, if you click on continue, so enter the valuation class. Enter the valuation class. Enter some price. Enter some price. Now I created this material. What is my material code here? 1722 here. Okay. So which means what are the materials we are using in batch? Okay. So what materials the client is need to use in batch management? So list of materials will be provided to the client. Okay. For all these materials while you're uploading, we need to select the batch management indicator here. Okay. So now once you selected, yeah, again is this materials all the inventory transactions with the only batch number here. Okay. So now go to ME51 and transition. Try to create a PR. ME51. So which material here? Enter your material code. So 1722. Enter your material code 1722. Let us say 100 quantity. So you know how to create a PR, right? So simply create a PR, create a purchase equation. Okay. So simply click on message during check. So there is no need to worry. Okay, so observe all this here. Simply click on message during check and create a PR purchase equation. So once the purchase equation is created, what is my purchase equation number? 100137224. 100137224. 100137224. Again, is this purchase equation. So it's already RFQ, PO, quotation, all mental quotation, everything is same here. Okay. Straight away, I'm creating PO in ME21 transition. Straight away, I'm creating a PO in ME21 transition code. Okay. So I need to facilitate my PR number here. Okay. Simply enter the PR number. Purchase number. Okay. So enter the purchasing organization. Enter the vendor, which vendor you are procuring. Our Inforica is not available, so I need to enter the price also. Inforica is not available, I need to mention the price. So I can able to create a PO here. Okay. Enter all these details. So now click on message during check. You can click on save. So if I created a PO, what is my PO number? 4500017257 here. So against this PO, when I received here, against this PO 4500017257. Enter the goods receipt here. Go to Migo. The goods receipt. The purchase order number. Okay. So what is the new tab is up? Did you observe the batch tab is generated here automatically? So previously you observed already material tab you observed, the quantity tab you observed, the where tab you observed, purchase data, pattern. This is familiar to you. Understand? The new tab you observed batch tab here. So what is this batch tab here? Why system is generating this batch? This you need to understand. So what is the triggering point? In Material Master, once you select the batch management, okay. So once in Material Master, once you select the batch management, so automatically the system will create a, so for all the inventory transactions, okay. Once you selected in master data level batch management indicator in Material Master purchasing view or general plan store location or sales view, so all the inventory transactions you must enable the, you need to receive to the batch, so the system will create automatically batch here. So how system is creating we'll discuss here. So the system will create batch here. Okay. So when you are issuing also which batch you are issuing, everywhere the batch tab been enabled, so we need to move with the batch. Without batch we are not able to move this material once is activated here. Okay. Now let us see item. Okay. All the system will create batch number also we need to observe. Okay. So simply click on check. So immediately the system is going to create a new batch number here. Okay. So from where the system is creating batch number, this also we'll discuss. Don't worry. So when we are creating Metal Master, the system is allocating a particular material code, right? The same way Vendor Master also. The same way batch, for batch also we will define some number range object. So from number range to two number ranges. So whenever you are using, so automatically system is allocating one by one batch number. So you don't need to worry, the system will create batch. Okay. So the system is allocated the batch number. Now if you want to create, so system is created the batch number here. If you want to create manually also, the SAP has given the transition code MSC1N. MSC1N transition code to create batch manually. This also will show you. I want to create batch manually. So what is the transition code the SAP has given? MSC1N. Okay. In MSC1N transition code, you can create a batch manually. Now simply come to here. Now, so already system is generated the batch number. See one more major advantage in batch number also. See here you can maintain the shelf life data. So suppose if batch number is not available, okay, you cannot maintain, you cannot differentiate when this material is manufactured, when it is going to expire. All are materials only. So some materials shelf life date is 3 months. Some materials shelf life date is 6 months here. How you can able to, okay, find out this here? If you know your production date and expiry date, then easily you can find out this is the, so manufactured some 3 months before, expiry in next month. So only 1 month is there expiry date here. So when it is possible, if you enter the manufacturing date and expiry date, you can find the shelf life date of the material. It is simple. Okay. While I'm receiving the vendor, okay. So now I'll maintain some when it is manufactured. Example, it is manufactured now. Okay. So 10th March 2022, it is manufactured. Example I'm saying. And when it is going to expire, suppose 31st December 2022, it is going to expire. So now it is 10th month example. Okay. So 31st December 2022, the material is going to expire. So this is the information we can capture, and you can mention the shelf life date of the material. Simply click on enter. Click on check here. The document is okay. Now I need to post the document. When I post this document, what happened if you go and observe the stock or MMBE? Now what is MMBE to check the stock only? Previously we have seen only MMBE plant and store location level. Now also we are seeing plant and store location level. Which plant and which store location? The extra qualification. Now you can see. So this material in this batch, how much stock is there? Okay, so suppose I have another batch, the same material, I have another batch, Okay, so here, so you can able to see. Previously, you observed only plant and store location level. You see the stock here, but now you are going to see the stock at a particular batch. This much of stock is there. This is one thing you need to understand. Okay, so from here also you can see. Right click here, display batch here, where it will take MSC3N. It will take to MSC3N. Okay, you can see the. So you can create batch manually MSC1N, change MSC to N, display MSC3N. Okay. Now if you go and observe this material in this batch, in this plant and store location, you can observe all the details here. Okay, so this particular material in this batch, what is the details? Another batch, different expiry date, different production date. So you can observe there are a lot of advantage. The batch status unrestricted means you can use. But the restriction use we cannot use it. Okay. So the production date, expiry date, and when we received what, when the last goods receipt is happened, through which vendor we received, all these details you can able to observe. And I will not maintain any classification view. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about the classification view. So this is the way you can observe MSC1 and create, MSC2 and change, MSC3 and display. Now come back. Now one more example I will show you. So previously we observed how to do the goods issue to the cost center. Now the same material I want to issue to the cost center. How my system is behaving, we need to observe. If I am trying to issue the goods to the cost center, go to NB1A. In NB1A transaction code, I want to issue. Where I want to issue? I want to issue to the cost center 201. 201 cost center I need to enter. Plant and store location. MB1A or MAGO. I am trying to issue the material. Plant and store location. Which cost center I issue? Suppose I want to issue to the 1000 cost center. What kind of material? 1722. So how much quantity I want to issue? I want to issue some 25 pieces. Previously, you can able to issue happily. Now this time the system will stop here. Means what we discussed here. Once you enable the batch number, so everything should be batch here. From which batch you are issuing, from which we are receiving, everything with the batch management here. So now we have so many search options will be there. Okay. So in fact, in only one batch only the material is available. Okay. So just go back here. Now search for the material. Batch for the. This is it. This you want. Acha, this you want. Okay. Okay. Now batches for the material. Search batches for the material. So immediately the system will show you in which batch this is available. Only one batch material is available, right? So you can observe Only in this batch only batch is available. So here previously without batch number you can able to issue. Now this time what happened here? The material is in multiple batches or single batch. Until and if you enter the batch number, then only you can able to issue. Otherwise we are not able to issue. So this is also you need to understand. If I issue this material, then what happened we need to observe. Okay. So what is posted? Now the material document is posted. Please go and observe the stock overview. If I go and observe the stock overview, now what? How many number of pieces will be in this batch? 75 pieces. If I refresh, what happened here? So now it will become only 75 pieces. What is the stock here? Only 75 pieces. Okay. So 25 pieces. So what we need to understand, once you enable the batch number, the complete inventory will be in the batch. So if you are receiving your issuing, everything will be batch here. And most of the interviews, they will ask this question here. So in middle of the business, if any material, I want to remove the complete batch number, is it possible or not? So in middle of the business, a particular material, initially the client explained you, I want to maintain this particular material in batches. In middle of the business, actually the client want to remove the batch. They want to disable the batch number against this material. Is it possible or not? Yes, it is possible, but we need to maintain some conditions here. So there is no open purchase documents. There is no open inventory transactions or invoice transactions, and the stock also should not be available. If any stock also, we need to do some dummy goods issue. But it's a tricky process here. Okay, it is possible in SAP in the middle of the business. I don't want to maintain this particular material in batches. We can do it here, but we need to identify if any open POs we need to close, only open purchase documents, and here there is no inventory transactions, invoice transactions. If any stock is available, I need to issue some dummy goods issue. Then only you can able to enable. Okay. Now I'll show you. So the SAP has given two procedures we are discussing. One is batch management without classification. The second one is batch management with classification. So with the classification, we are going to discuss in tomorrow session. But what is the difference between without classification and with classification also you need to understand. So before that, I will show you how to create batch manually. So the same material, suppose I want to create my own batch number. I want to create my own batch number. Is it possible or not? Okay. Now as of now, in only one batch, this much of stock is there. Okay. So I want to create my own batch number. Is possible or not? Okay. Simply go to MSC1M. MSC1M. So we are creating. So generally, the batch number will be internally system will pick one by one. Okay. So but now this time I want to create my batch number here. Okay. So here which material here? Enter your material code 1722. And what is the batch number you want to give? I want to give the batch number like what is some test batch here. Okay. So test one. I want to create some test one. Okay. Or simply test batch here. Okay. So you enter the plant and store location. So I am creating new batch here. Batch is called test here. So in this batch, stock is not available, but freely I am creating. Freely I am creating the batch number. Okay. So if you want, you can enter the manufacturing production date, expiry date, or simply you can click on save it. So means you can able to create a batch for the same material. So what I will do, one more time I will create a PO. Go to ME21 transition code. Again I will create a PO with any one vendor. Enter the purchasing organization, purchase group, and enter the company code. Which material here? 1722. How much quantity? Let's say 100 quantity. Price also you can enter. Currency also you can enter. For which plant here and which store. Okay. So enter here. Now PO, you know already how to create a PO here. Simply create a PO here. If I'm trying to do the goods receipt here. Okay. So what is my PO number here? 450017. 45001725. Okay. Now go to We go. So enter the PO number. Just put here. Item okay. Again, you will find the batch table. Here I need to enter. So manually I created, right? I can enter my batch number. This batch I created. So I'm going to enter it. So I'm going to receive. So if you want, you can enter the manufacturing date, production date, but it's not a mandatory field. Simply click on check, and if you post here. Now this time what happened, if I go to my stock overview, if I refresh, what happened? The same metal is available in two batches here. In this batch I have 100 pieces. In this batch I have 75 pieces. Now this time also if I am issuing here, suppose now if I the same, suppose now I want to issue, go to MB1A 201. So if I want to issue, which I want to issue to the cost center here. Okay. Which material here, same 1722 material I want to issue. How much quantity I want to issue? I want to issue some 30 pieces here. Immediately system will stop. Which batch you want to issue? If you know directly, you can enter the batch number, or you can see simply you can go for a search option. Okay. This material is available. How many number of batches? System will show you. Now this time I want to issue from test batch here, or from this batch. So which batch you are issuing? So you need to enter. Enter, and you need to click on save. So test batch we have 100 pieces. Now this time, if you go and see your stock overview, the stock will be decreased from test batch here. If I refresh here, what happened here? Now I have only 70 pieces in here. In all zeros 390 75 pieces. In test batch I have only 70. Okay. So all the batch management customization where we'll see here. So again we have some customization classes there. Don't worry. So the batch management customization SPRO. SAP reference IMG. Batch management customization. Okay. So SPRO SAP reference IMG. Coming to the last check general. So SPRO SAP reference IMG. Last check general. Last check general we have batch management customization. Batch management customization. Batch management customization. So SPRO SAP reference IMG. Okay, under the last check general, we have a separate tab called batch management. Here we need to see the customization. So this is the message. So most of the message warning you can make as error. Okay, or error message you can make as a warning. Batch master. So from where exactly? So here some fields you want required optional. Here you can keep batch master here. This I will show you. Batch numbers from where exactly the batch numbers is generating, like metal master, vendor master. Still we have customization classes there. So here internally I will define some numbering of them. From there the system is picking the batch numbers. Okay. And if you want the creation of the new batches also you can do the batch valuation, batch status management. So everything we have some customization classes. Okay. Now suppose now one more flexibility I want to show you. In metal master, so if I am receiving the material at the time of goods receipt without the production date, without the expiry date also, the system is allowing. When actually it is allowed, if you have not maintained any self-life data in the metal master. In metal master, if you maintain the self-life data, which metal here 1722, right? In metal master, if you maintain the self-life data, where you will maintain the self-life data? General plant store location view. If I maintain the self-life data in my general plant store, the self-life data means the time unit is in months. Self-life data. So in time units, I am going to keep in months here. What I am mentioning months here, including minutes also SAP has given, but I am using in months here. Okay. So maximum period is here. Maximum storage period is here. So I am making from 12 months. Minimum is 2 months here. At least minimum 2 months self-life is required. Okay. The total self-life is not required. So maximum minimum you can enter and means against this material when I am receiving from the vendor, at least the self-life should be only 2 months self-life is required. Only 2 months self-life is required. భవాని సెషన్ లో ఉన్నాడు, కాల్ చేస్తాం. Now go to emit and donate transaction. For the same material, for 1722, I'm giving 100 quantity, price, whatever the price, currency, into the plant and into the storage. So anybody can able to create a PO, right? Create a PO. What is my PO number? 45,17259, right? So go to Migo. $259, right? So observe the batch tab here. Okay. Click on check here. The system automatically allocate the batch number here. Which batch number is system allocate? 391. Okay. But previously, without self-life data, we can able to post here. In Material Master, this particular material self-life data you want to maintain, the user has to maintain the compulsory self-life data. In Material Master store location view, you need to mention the self-life in months or days or minutes, whatever that is. Okay, that you need to maintain what is the maximum, what is the minimum. Then the system will cross check here. What is the minimum self-life? 2 months here. So if I mention, suppose this is the March here. Okay. So 2 months. Suppose if I mention 31st December 2021. Okay. Now 31st December 2020 means it is the 10th month, right? Okay. So here now what I will do, I will post in up to 11/20/22. So what happened? Invalid data. Okay. 30 November will be 30, right? 10th March. 10th March. November only 30 days. Okay. Now you need to click on check. Now document is okay. Minimum 2 months self life. Okay, the system is going to accept. So the system. So if I have not mentioned the manufacturing date and self life date, immediately the system will throw error. So simply you can post here. Okay. If it is below 2 months, okay. So here above 2 months, the system will give the error. Now if you see to MMBE, I can check the stock for you. This material in different batches. Okay. So today we discussed a simple procedure here. So once again, if you conclusion, the batch management is the concept. It is a concept. It is not a business process procedure or something here. The client will give you, okay, the client will give a list of materials, which materials they want to maintain the batch management. So all these materials in Material Master, in purchasing view or store location view or sales view, you need to enable that. Once you enable the complete material in all the inventory transactions, you need to go with the batch management only. If I enabled, you must do here. So what is the use of this batch management? Is to find homogeneous of the materials or faulty materials, and which modules are going to integrate with the batch management. Not only the sales people also, see, whenever they are going issuing to the customers, okay, so from which batch they are issuing this particular material, the sales people, production people also, whenever they are producing the new materials, which batch material you are using. I have given one example also in the initial session. Okay, production people, quality people also, it is most important because they no need to check all the complete materials in a particular production lot. They will check randomly. They can say the batch will be okay. So we have a lot of advantage. And finally, without batch number, what happened here? You cannot find. Okay, so here, so if manufacturing date, expiry date, we are not entered. So when it is manufactured and when it is going to expire, you cannot find the shelf life data of the material. So mostly the pharma industries, chemical industries, food industries, they are using more number of materials, but in fact all all the industries are using batch management, but these industries are using more number of materials into the batch management. We have a lot of advantage. And what is the difference between the first procedure and second procedure? So now we are saying batch management. Okay, sorry. Okay, so the batch management without classification. Second, tomorrow we are going to discuss about with classification. But what is the difference between without classification and with classification? This is also information, right? A particular material. So we observed previously one material example, material X. This material X, if the material is having different characteristics values, the material doesn't have any characteristics values, the happily you can go with the first procedure. If the material is having same metal is having multiple characteristics values, then you need to go to the second procedure. What is the multiple characteristics values? The multiple characteristics value means maybe differentiate with color, differentiate with okay. So here we have a lot of examples will be there. Suppose now based on, suppose now I'll give an example. Suppose in pharma industry, okay, one paracetamol tablet is there. The tablet paracetamol tablet is there. I have 100 mg tablet is there. I have 200 mg tablet is there. I have 500 mg tablet is there. All are paracetamol tablet only. Material is same, but this mg composition is different, right? So if the metal is here, mg is the one characteristics values. Mg is one characteristics values. So based on the viscosity, based on the pH value, based on the smell, okay. So based on the color, there are a lot of examples will be there. Suppose now I have an iron rod, length is 5 mm, length iron rod. I have some 10 mm length iron rod is there. Here length is the characteristics value. So the iron rod length 10 mm length is not equal to 5 mm length, right? The length is the characteristics values. So if the materials doesn't have any characteristics values, happily you can go with the first process here. If the metal is having characteristics values, then you must go with the batch management classification. For this, how to overcome this? Suppose the metals having multiple characteristic values, how to perform the batch management classification? Tomorrow's session we'll discuss it. Okay. Is it clear, Yamuna and Yashasvi Lakshmi?
Yes, Rajesh garu. Just
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for the session. So tomorrow also we'll meet 45. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Oh,
Thank you,
thank you.
sir.